The content you're about to hear is a part of a paid programming segment. The views, opinions, and statements expressed belong solely to the sponsor and do not reflect those of Podcastic or its host. This segment is for informational and promotional purposes only and should not be considered as advice or endorsement. Listener discretion is advised.
You stay ready. You ain't got to get ready. What's up? Welcome to Creative Emotions. I am your host, Vaquita Q, and I welcome you here today. Thank you guys so much for joining. If this is your first time joining, make sure you hit that subscribe button every week. Okay. I am getting something in my shanana to come and bring and just to encourage the people. My goal is to show love, be love, and body love. And so everything I do, it comes along with just being able to show you this love. So encouragement, motivation, information, empowerment, inspiration, transparency, and good vibes is what you can look for on this show. Okay? And ain't nothing you can do about them good vibes. Nothing you can do about it. You're going to take it. Okay? You're going to take it. Poetry and Conversations is July 18th. Doors open at 8 p.m. The feature is Untitled. $20 on Eventbrite and $25 at the door. $5 off for artists. So make sure you come and see about this show. Okay. Untitled, he had his own show at one point. He kind of be in and out. You know what I'm saying? So he coming to bless the mic. And so make sure you guys come on out. If you have nothing to do, July 18th, go ahead and get your tickets now while they are available. I Am Revival Luncheon will be September 12th. Tickets you can get on Eventbrite. $50, lunch is included, and $35 for seniors. You know, we got to look out for our seniors. I am looking for vendors. If you have something that is inspirational or just something that can help people, those are the type of vendors that I would absolutely love to be a part of this. My book is still available. You can get it at www.thecreativeemotions.com, along with if you need a host for your event. I am a life coach as well. And so if you need those services, you can go ahead and check out that website. And I will be able to assist in that way. So today's show is Understand Your Value. Understand your value. So make sure if you're watching, share this with somebody. Like right now. Share it. Text it to them. Share it. So I have gone through somewhat of a faith test. That's what I'm going to say. God does not test us, right? Everybody go through something. Nothing is, under the sun. We all going to go through it. We all going to have our time where we go through some things. But I know who I am. I know my power. I know my authority and my energy. But over time, in the same environment, encountering the same things, if you don't keep your armor on, something other than the light can infiltrate. And this is just something that I know because, again, I live it. And so if my question is, have we gotten lazy with our faith? Because it was at one point, if I encountered something that could be taxing on the spirit, I would calmly be able to express myself. But over the last couple of months, I have been a little bit more tense, right? Because things have been happening. So I've been a little bit more tense, but it just showed me that I have not had my guard up like I usually do. And so this is something that we have to think about. In Ephesians 6, 10 through 18, and I'm going to read out an NIV version. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground. And after you have done everything to stand, stand firm then, with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place, and with your feet fitted with the readiness that comes from the gospel of peace. In addition to all this, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, and pray in the Spirit on all occasions with all kinds of prayers and requests. With this in mind, be alert and always keep on praying for all the Lord's people. So this is telling me that no matter what is going on, prayers of all kind, that means long prayers, short prayers, whatever, however, just lifting those things up that may be bothering you or affecting you negatively. That means every day we should be putting on some form of our armor, right? And I know a lot of days, every day I get up, I'm I look at my journal, I do different things every day. I make sure I get into the presence of God every day. I make sure I do. But there is something that we can miss, right? And we allow the schemes and the devil and that type of thing to infiltrate the peace that God said we will have. He said he will lead us beside still waters. Like, what does that sound like? That sounds like peace to me. Some like still waters. He'll lead me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. So no matter what it is we go through, if you are a believer, all of it is going to work out for your good. And it's God's name's sake that's on the line. And so I thought about that today when I thought about the calm, the still waters, and what it looked like. In Galatians 6:9, I want to encourage you, do not let your guard down, and don't get weary in well doing. And that is Galatians 6:9. And let us not be weary in well doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. And so no matter what season you're in right now, whatever it is that you're going through, and I'm telling you because, honey, I've had my seasons, okay? And we will have more. It's a part of life, but just being able to be conscious of the fact that there is something outside that you cannot control. What you can control is inside of you. And if you're just joining, I'm talking about understanding your value. So we are to stay ready in every season. And my question is, do you know your value? Has anyone or anything openly challenged your value? It happens often when behaviors are not checked and boundaries are not set. A lot of times we, deal with people or allow certain things to happen and it goes totally against you. So when you are violated, but what you allowed, you can unfortunately start to question your value. So when we are, when things happen and you may be violated, you start to question yourself. Whether anyone recognizes you, your value, stay intact. That goes for a specific person, employer, or environment. So it doesn't matter who you're with or what's going on. You have to know your value. You are what you say you are. And that's one thing it's like a light came on. Like, wait a minute. I think I've been operating with a gate or a window. Something has been open, because usually, I go right to where I need to go. And I've allowed things to bother my heart, right? Because I know that my heart is good. I know that I do things with good intention. And so to, deal with certain things and feel it, being a empath, being able to feel certain things so deeply, it can affect you. But those are the times that we know we have to give these things over to God, because a lot of things are too heavy. He told us when your burden, is heavy, go ahead and give it to him. Go ahead, sit it down. Yoke is easy and burden is light. His is. And so I'm like, why am I walking around with this heaviness? And it doesn't belong to me. It's you know, it's a part of understanding that you can't control things outside of you, right? And you can know that and still move a different way. And so this is just being realistic, because we are not perfect by any means. But you are who you say you are. But you have to prove it to yourself. And proving it to yourself is when you feel like you are out of whack. When you feel like something is going on, you are able to pull yourself out. Because you may not always have somebody to come and pull you out. You may not always have somebody to tap you on your shoulder or remind you who you are. A lot of times you'll have to do that for yourself. We can give power away that was not anyone's to have. I have been in situations, some church settings, people give over their power. They give over their power to another male or female, another human being with a title, not knowing that we are all God's children, right? And so they are led a certain way. They are manipulated sometimes. Different things happen when you give your power over. And that's not just a church setting. We can talk about relationships. In relationships, when, the one person is more controlling. You have people in abusive relationships, and that's unfortunate. But you have people in abusive relationships because they want that control, because the person has given over their power a lot of times. Not all the time. But they have given over their power. And so you have to be mindful not to give over your power to anyone. God has given us all some type of authority, right? To trample over serpents, to, do certain things. So I'm going to say value is a self-defined principle or standard of behavior. And so you have to know your value. You have to set that standard. You have to set that tone. And then you have to operate that way. We get bamboozled when, we may put ourselves sometimes on a pedestal, or make yourself more than what you are, and then you get knocked down. And that's why I don't let anybody, don't put me on a pedestal, okay? I am God, by God's grace, I'm here. By God's grace, I move, I have my being. But don't put me on a pedestal to say, oh, how great I am, because we all fall, right? We get back up, and we all may have things that we struggle with. The thing is, we get back up and we're able to try again, and we're able to use what we know to live a different way. And so don't allow anybody to put you on a pedestal. You can take compliments all day. I receive, okay? But don't put anybody on a pedestal, because that gives you the authority to knock them back down. And that can mess somebody up if they haven't done the work, right, to build themselves up. And so take your own assessment of things and, the things you value and honor in your life, because everybody's different, right? Everybody's moral code is different. What bother you may not bother me. What bother me may not bother you, vice versa. So take an assessment on how often you devalue yourself based on situations and circumstances. How many times have I done things that I did not want to do, or I did it for acceptance, or, I'm just trying to be liked or validation, different things of that nature. You got to be careful. Take the assessment. How many times have I allowed something like this to happen to me? That's something that we all have to do for ourselves. You learning your individual worth is something that you have to do. And I'm talking about taking your own assessment. Learning your individual worth. What is more important to you? What can't you live without? That's something to think about. And what is your moral code? Because at the end of the day, it's about you. It's about how you feel. It's about how you move, how you operate. And that's something we got to be responsible for. So if you're just joining, I'm talking about understanding your value. Understand your value. I had to do that, man. Sometimes, you can it take work to be positive. It's a lot of work. But, I just make sure that I go back to the source. And I don't try to take all the credit, because, honey, I have some days I'm just like, oh my goodness, it's work. But start to recognize your value. Tell your inner critic to shut up. That inner critic will tear you up, and ain't nobody even thinking about you. And good evening. Hello there, Miss Conley and Richard. Thank you guys for watching. If you're just joining, I'm talking about understanding your value and how important it is. But tell your inner critic to shut up. And I don't use that word, right? But for real, things are not always that bad. It's not always as bad as we make it in our heads. Sometimes we'll be too much in our heads. So just be mindful of that. Forget shallow labels, material or otherwise. Some people think they can judge their worth by the clothes that they wear or the car that they drive or the phone even that they have. Don't they got a gold phone? Is it real gold?
Elon Musk coming out with a new phone.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just like, what are we doing? What? Take ownership of who you are and own it and make it better. We got to take ownership, so if something is wrong, if you are wrong, make sure you take ownership. Accountability is needed. Again, I'm talking about understand your worth and what that looks like. Take ownership. Take that accountability. We know when we're wrong. If we honest, you will feel it. You will feel it in your heart. You will feel it in your face. You will feel it. Forgive yourself. Back in the day is just that. It's back in the day. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself and let it go. Celebrate your growth and your small wins. So often we looking for this big grandeur, everything to be so grand. Just celebrate those small wins. Celebrate when things are not, when they're not looking up. Celebrate when you picked yourself up, even though, you had a bad week. This week has been weakened. If I could say that. But it's nothing that I cannot get through. It's nothing that can take away from the person that I am. It's nothing that can change my value because I know my value. So it's just a reminder. It's you knowing yourself and being able to understand yourself, understanding your value, and reminding yourself every time you're something is happening where you're out of character, right? Something is happening where you accept it. You accepted something that you normally don't, right? This is you understanding your value to bring yourself back. Now, hold on. Wait a minute. Now, this ain't what you do. Just being able to encourage yourself. It's actually one of my favorite songs. But there's only something you offer that you have to be bought and sold on. It's something that only you have. And so you have to understand that. Watch over time, if you put yourself in situations that could be compromising, and over time start making you question yourself, your worth, and your value. Definitely. Watch it. If you're putting yourself in compromising situations, step back. Think about it. How does it make you feel? What is going on? And things of that nature. I had to realize at some point I was comfortable enough, thinking that I was guarded. I was guarding myself. And by the time you realize it, you're not. And you've been affected by whatever's going on. So again, every day I get up and I pray. I write in my journal. Every day I'm, doing the things that work. But have I been pulling down those things that bother me throughout the day? Or have I allowed it to create a whole chain reaction to where now my reaction may be something that is not my normal reaction? And so it's different steps that you have to know and you have to do on your own to make sure that you are staying true to your value. Staying true to who you know that you are. It's times where I will have a conversation, just how I'm having a conversation right now, but the conversation will be tense. It'll be heated, and I still will be like this. But it's been times where I've allowed, right? You hear that? I've allowed a conversation to touch me in a way that makes me elevate in where they are. And so now I got to go back to the work that I put in. What am I not doing? Where did I drop the ball? Or where did I leave a door or window open? A lot of times we have to watch the things that we watch, the music we listen to, the people that we're around, the things that we say. All of that plays a part in how you move forward. But I had to realize, at some point, I gotta stay on top of it. The things that work, stay on top of those things. Don't allow yourself to get outside of what you know about you. I remember one time before I noticed the power that I had, I was driving and the man next to me looked at me because I was heated. Like I felt myself getting heated. So I turned around and I'm looking at him and he started laughing. I was like, wow, he laughed. That means he got my attention, right? I just stooped. I just came where he was. And that's a lot of times where the feud come in at, because you can't argue by yourself. Right? So a lot of times, a lot of things can be diffused if you know your value, you keep yourself at a certain level, no matter where somebody else go. But when they can bring you up and down the way that they are up and down, that's problematic. And so that's where you like, oh, wait a minute, what I do? I was talking to my coworker today. I said, normally I'm real, but lately I've been like, because at some point you like, man, like why everybody, why? Like, I think I really do think it's that though. People that are cool and chill, a lot of people will try quicker than they would somebody to know that's going to blow up on the handle, right? But it still don't have anything to do with me, but it depends on where I am that day. You can catch me on a day where you going to get this energy that you putting out. And people don't like that. They don't like it. But you can't give it and don't want it back. But I don't want to be the one to give it to you. I like my life at peace. I like to be able to control myself and then be at a certain tempo and not allow other people's energy to infiltrate mine. And so that's something that we have to think about. Thinking about understanding your value. Understanding what's moving you, what's agitating you, what's irritating you, and don't allow those things to follow you throughout the day. Because if you do, somebody just might mess around and find out. And it may not be good. And so we want to be able to bring it in and not get into the energy of others. Protect your energy. Protect yourself. Protect your mind. Protect yourself. Protect the words that come out of your mouth, because even when people claim to like, oh, I know this happened. I know they said this. I know that happened. You are already ahead of yourself, right? Because you don't know what anybody is saying. You don't know what nobody's thinking unless you're a prophet, unless you're prophetic, and you are definitely, in the vein of knowing or reading somebody's mind. You're a psychic. So a lot of times we get ahead of ourselves saying, oh, I know that's what they meant by it. I know that's how they felt, without asking, right? We're assuming, we're creating narratives. And that alone, like, when I say in my head all week, I'm like, devil, get thee behind me. But again, it's a lot of self-regulating that comes with that. So self-regulating is good. You know what I'm saying? It's work, but it's needed, especially if you want to live a certain way, you want to operate a certain way, and you want to create your own space. Man, I mean, it's work. It's definitely work. A lot of times worrying about tomorrow can get you in a place that you stressed out. Okay? Worrying about tomorrow. What other people have to say? Why are we so worried about what other people have to say? Where did that come from? Why is it a thing? Can they whoop you? Can they do something to you? Can they harm you because of it? I mean, if we ask ourselves these questions, it's like, why am I so worried about that? People gonna say what they want to say, whether you're doing good or whether you're doing bad. So I will hope that you would take your energy and your time to do good. Take the energy and your time to do what you want to do. because people are going to talk regardless. You know, how things look on the outside. We're so worried about what it looks like versus what it is. I am like about facts. I mean, I'm just like, I'm out of this world, okay? I'm in this world, but I'm not of this world. And this is that's in the word, okay? We in this world, we're not of this world. And once you know that, you separate from the mundane way of doing things, right? The hate, the disrespect, all of the things that would affect another human being negatively. Opt out of it. That's just it. And that's why I feel like people try a lot of times, people that are mild-mannered or chill, and you got to be careful because you might meet somebody on the wrong day. So you just be kind, not worrying about what people think. Your thoughts will be hijacked and run through if you don't. Thoughts will be hijacked. Just think about this. All we have is today, right now. That's it. Like, you don't know about anything else. Just right now and today. And a lot of times, we're thinking about tomorrow, next week, what's going to happen next month. God told us not to worry about none of that. He said, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will worry about itself, okay? Don't worry about what you're going to eat, what you're going to drink, what you're going to wear. And we're worrying about what I'm going to wear, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, where I'm going to go. All of these things. And that creates the anxiety, okay? That creates the uneasiness. That creates it. We are in a cruel, I would say, godless in a way, an evil society where the heart dwells in some people, their mouths speak and their actions speak. And so with that, that's nothing you can do. You can pray for them, right? It's nothing you can do. But you have to make sure you're not the one that's operating that way. You got to make sure you're not the one that is devaluing yourself. And that's what I'm talking about today, devaluing or value or understanding your value. I'm going to give you a few words before I end. Again, because God just put it on my heart. I just want to come really quick, give you a little bit of encouragement. Protect your spirit, protect your energy, protect your heart, and protect your word power. Your words have power. And the quicker we see this, the quicker we're able to fix what I would say, conjure up in our life. Conjure has been a negative word connected to witches and, different things of that nature. But we conjure. We conjure when we take these thoughts and we bring it to the forefront of our minds and we create a scenario. You're conjuring up something. You're creating that. And so that's something we have to be mindful of. Definitely watching your words. I knew that was going to happen. I knew this. Men always do that. That's just a man for you. That's just a woman for you. Oh, she only want my money. Oh, they only want this. Or your wife. Oh, they late. Oh, they always late. I wonder what's going on. Now you're conjuring things up. Assuming it's conjuring. You're bringing it to the forefront. But we have to be careful with the words that we speak, and even about people, other people. Watch the words that you speak. If they are not facts and from your own eyes, stop carrying people's water. It's problematic. It's unhealthy. Especially when all of us are different, right? All of us are different. So we got to be careful with that. What you say will affect something in your life. Whether you know it or not, realize it or not, hopefully if this is your first time joining, this kind of cuts something on in you to understand your power, to understand the power that you do have. My new word has been all is well. Somebody asked me, how you doing? All is well. Because you know what? It is. If we on this side of the ground, think about all the people that did not make it today, but you did. All the people. I'm talking about, we watching this stuff. We watching people die by the droves. All right? It's happening every day. Somebody's leaving this earth. Somebody's leaving this time, space, reality, and you're here. What are you doing with your time? And I'm talking about understanding your value. So what are you doing with your time? That's something that we have to ask ourselves. Every day you wake up, what are you doing with your time? Do you make time for God? Do you make time for yourself? Are you always on the go? Are you always trying to get something? Are you always looking for the next moment? Are you aware that the present time is your power? Are you aware of that? Because this is what we're missing. There's a void in our hearts when we feel like it's something that we gotta get. It's something that is there that we don't have, and it creates uneasiness in our hearts. And so we have to be mindful of that. You have everything that you need. You are everything right now. Everything that you're gonna be, you are it right now. You're just walking into it. Like, what? That gave me so much peace. The Holy Spirit put that on my heart. Everything you are it. And so different levels of yourself is birth. Your birth. Every day, every week, every time you're allowed another moment, another part of you is being birthed. And I'm like, God, the different things that go on in life, it's like, oh, not another thing, not another one. But it creates the person that you are. You know, being resilient, being strong. You know, I know some of the single mothers can agree. Like, we done been through some stuff, honey. Some stuff with these kids, with these children. And then you come back and it's like, okay, I done poured all of this into you, but it's never ending. But it creates something new every time. Every time you go through something, it creates something new. It creates something different. And so just being able to be grateful for the time that we're allotted when we're here. We do God a disservice. When we wake up and we get another day, we complain, we gossip, we waste time, when we, dog other people, when you're not being conscious of your present moment, that's a disservice to God. It's a disservice to your life. It's like, what are we doing here? And so I always tell people, we are just passing through. That's it. We're passing through. So no matter what job you have, no matter what relationship you're in, no matter what it is, not saying you passing through relationships, because if you're in a marriage, you're going to grow and you're going to meet a different version of that person every time. But we all just passing through, and this should be a lovely experience. But there's so much turmoil going on. There's so much confusion going on. And if you don't want to be a part of the confusion, remove yourself. The only way you're able to do that is if you work your muscle to where when things are creating havoc around you, you remove yourself. People having conversations that are not conducive to anything you got going on, remove yourself. When people are having conversations about other people and not ideals, remove yourself. When your home is not the way you want it, clean it up. Get it together in all ways, shapes, and forms. Whether it's physically, spiritually, cleaning your home. We got to clean this up. There ain't nobody else to do it, right? And this is understanding your value. So even if you don't appear to be, it will be. Take your power back. Learn your value and own it. And don't allow things around you that contradict your value. That is the first step of infiltration. So watch your spirit. Listen, if you haven't heard anything else I said, watch your spirit. Guard it with your life. Guard it. The enemy is looking. The Bible says he prowl around seeking whom he can devour. How can he devour you? He can devour you by infiltrating your thoughts, by making you conjure up stories that ain't even there, or things that people have done that they ain't even do, or you conjure negative things about yourself and bring it out into your reality and create it. Nothing can happen unless it comes through you. So please watch your word power, watch your spirit, watch your heart. Treat people kind, be kind, because it's just the right thing to do. I hope this helped somebody today. If it did, please make sure you share this with somebody, because this was definitely from the Holy Spirit, man. I'm telling you, I am the testament of it, okay? So make sure you guys come out to Poetry and Conversations July 18th. The doors open at 8. It is at Demi's Restaurant and Bar, and the feature is Untitled.
Where is Demi's?
Demi's is on Telegraph and 7 Mile, right on the corner behind the gas station. So make sure you guys come on and mark your calendars for the I Am Revival Luncheon, which will be September 12th. Tickets are available on Eventbrite. $50, lunch is included, and $35 for seniors. This is going to be a dynamic time. Some of the speakers are Dr. Sabrina Black and Apostle Gerald Gordon. He has been on Creative Emotions every fourth Wednesday, so you guys know a little bit about him. But make sure you join in. Make sure you join in and stay connected. Stay connected. I love you, and there is nothing you can do about that, okay? Peace.